And this is the Chris Heasley Show, and on the show we will bring you all of the ideas, the content, the information that you need to take back your city, your village, your borough, your school district, your town, your county, our Texas counties, your state, the great state of Texas, and our country. But there's an obligation that comes with this show, and the obligation is on you to get involved at the local level. And I will tell you right now, we have the football, and we are in the red zone, but we haven't pushed it across the line. And it is up to you to get that football pushed across the line. Push that football across the line in the spirit of 1776 to save our republic. And do it by attending your county commissioner court meetings, by attending your school board meetings, by calling your local state reps, both the ones you agree with and the ones you disagree with, and giving them your opinion on these matters. It is only when you do that that we push that football across the line and we can claim victory, okay? Because when you do that, what you do is the state reps that agree with you, you empower them. You give them the fuel they need to spike that football in the end zone. And the ones that disagree with you, you disempower them. And they lose their momentum. They lose their ability to keep fighting. And we can claim victory in America. We can claim, like raising that flag in Iwo Jima, we can raise that flag right here in the state of Texas and proclaim that we've retained our county, our counties, our Texas counties, that we've retained our state, the great state of Texas, and we've retained our country. And on today's show, we have a great show. We have on the show today Leah Simmons. Leah, a community activist. It's good to see you, Leah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Chris.
Great. And we have Bangar Reddy, political activist. How are you doing, Bangar?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you.
It's sort of interesting because we listed all these things that USAID is funding, all of these toxic ideas. And I mean, it's horrible that we're actually feeling these ideas being put on us here in Fort Bend County, here in Harris County. We're having to go fight the school boards to get these sick concepts out of our children's heads that being implemented on us by the federal government. But the fact that our government is spending this money to send these same sick ideas on our behalf to places as far off as Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, or Shymkent, Kazakhstan, or some of these, Hungary and all these other different countries, it's wrong. It's just improper.
And again, we are not against the humanitarian where the help is needed. That is, we always do, and it's the most generous country. I'm not saying, but using this USAID as a weaponization to empower a section of people, but not helping the needy, either the beneficiaries where we are looking for. The money is not reaching to where exactly, maybe 10% of the money. But at the same time, there are people here, we are homeless people here in the United States.
And
a lot more. There is a value for what we can do with that money here in the United States.
To root out this same sort of funding, of course, we know that the tentacles of the establishment left have reached down to the Texas state level, to the community level. But Leah, tell me what you think. I mean, do you think I'm wrong? Maybe this leftist professor at the George Bush School in Texas A&M is right, and USAID is a force for good around the world. Am I wrong, or who's got the right opinion on this one?
Well, we need to worry more about what the community feels about this. That's why they elect people like Representative Matt Morgan. That's a very amazing gentleman, and he's trying to get all the help he can get from the government and state of Texas. But now that President Biden is out of the picture, I see that President Trump has done a lot to implement the policies that Biden did not. He put a cease and desist order, in other words, on everything that President Trump has done and all the executive actions. And now that President Trump is back, he just did everything and did a reversal of everything that Biden did, and everything that Biden undid that President Trump did. President Trump just reiterated everything back. So I think President Trump has everything on board to where everybody can implement a good strategy.
So it is a clear mandate given in the elections that voters have given a very clear mandate that we want a lean government and we need to cut down the waste, and especially USAID, one of them. answer to your question is maybe portion of it is being used correctly for the purposes, as I said, humanitarian, but unless we stop it and see where the problem is, we cannot fix it. So we are going through this turbulent phase. People might think that, oh, this is too soon and too quick. It's probably impacting some of the people around the world. But I would say unless in order to put a ban, you need to first stop the bleeding.
Essentially what's happening is that at the county level, Harris County this is so absurd. At the Harris County level, they're attempting to make an argument for birthright citizenship. These county commissioners do not know their place. I mean, they are hired to be city engineers and nothing more. They're maintenance managers. And they're trying to dictate international policy? I mean, like, this...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Leah. What did you want to say?
Oh, my goodness. There's so many levels. The county is right now in the middle of a lot of situations that I don't know if we have time for this, but should we speak about the situation there, how it's not going so well for the county judge and situation?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, go.
Well, I mean, I kept a very quiet perspective about the KP George situation and then Terrell Patel, and it also affected my precinct 3. So Ali Shakani, I mean, a great constable now, but right now I feel like my precinct is getting inundated with all the homeless people also in my area. And there's nothing I can say or do about it because it's more like a mud district, for example. So Mission Bend's also a mud district. Mm-hmm. And I would say Harris County has a lot of zoning problems. So anyone that does not have a tax, say like Bolio's Bakery, for example, they don't have a tax. They don't pay for that. So we're having to deal with a lot of different taxation by representation policies in Harris County that are not implemented. So the new mayor right now hopefully can fix that problem.
And in a 1-2 move, that's essentially what happened. We got rid of tariffs, we introduced the income tax, and our way of life and our quality of life began to erode immediately. And so when President Trump all of a sudden, and then of course they had all the business schools. You can see every business school has a rich person's name next to it. That's because that billionaire put his money down, and then they began teaching the ideas that would protect the interests of the billionaire class, which was the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which we were told tariffs are bad, 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 bad. Well, President Trump defies them, goes against that narrative and says, no, we're going to reintroduce tariffs. And that's causing this great debate to break out. And what people are now learning is that, hey, wait a minute, maybe tariffs are the right idea. Why are all these other countries using them? They're prospering, and we're faltering. And so it's really a tremendous time. Give me your guys' opinions on what do you think?
Yeah. So you touched upon, Chris, tariffs are actually working. Earlier, as you see during Biden administration, we have become so weak even to communicate on some of the policies that impact the United States. You cannot even communicate, and they are just not even listening. I think Trump policy of putting tariffs are working very well. If you look at it, because you can have hours and hours and months and years of diplomacy, and once we know that it's not working, the best way to do is to put the tariffs, and which we did, dealing with Canada, dealing with Mexico, and dealing with China. It's going to work. And because, as I said in the beginning of the show, you need to go and see where the money is going. And only people are going to listen, or the leaders are going to listen, not to our talk. Talk is cheap sometimes, but it is about, how this is going to impact their economy and how it is going to impact our economy. And I think that is a fair discussion to have tariffs that can dictate the policies.
Well, the problem I see with Canada, they don't want to work with President Trump. I mean, they fight him all the time. And what are we both supposed to do about that? I mean, President Trump thinks Canada should be the 51st state.
Then they started listening. Right?
Yes.
Then they started listening, and this is 30 days extension is gone. And then now they will sit together and they listen to each other. Mm-hmm. So tariffs did work. And same thing, Venezuela, they don't want to take, but once we started putting our foot down, and they started listening. And I think Mark Rubio, just to talk about it, Department of State, they're doing a great job, and he's going after. And I'm telling you, even Panama was listening to China before. Now they are started listening to what United States is saying. So basically, we have become such a weak country for so long, for the last 4 years. and we are just funding the people, and undocumented immigrants are illegally entering to United States, and nobody is really paying attention. Our vice president, the previous, God, she's gone, Kamala Harris, not even going to the border. And we lived in such a situation. Thanks God, with our great leader Trump, we have our country back.
And he lets normal people become ambassadors. Who does that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great country we live in right now. Normal people becoming something great.
Well, this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show. Appreciate everyone listening in, and we will see you next Saturday, 10 a.m. with one more hot topic. Have a great week.